disconnected. Let that loop one more time. Turn off this loop. Hey, party people, how y'all doing today? I am Vanessa Williamson, and we are here with Brown Girls Do Network doing our first Brown Girls Do Network live series. And today we're doing this series with Miss Stephanie Morrison. And I cannot wait to introduce y'all to her because this is going to be a treat. But before I do bring her on, let me introduce myself. I am Vanessa Williamson, the creator of Brown Girls Do Network. However, I am one of the partners that actually runs Brown Girls Do Network. I also am the creator of VW Freelance Photographer, and I just have a good old time doing my photos in my studio here in Newburgh, New York. So since I've introduced myself, let me tell you a little bit about our guest today. Today we have Miss Stephanie Morrison. She is a native of Newburgh, New York. She graduated from the Newburgh Enlarged City School District and went on to earn her BA in elementary education with a concentration in mathematics. Okay, she's a math genius, y'all. She holds a master's degree in literacy, and that's going to play into something that we're going to be talking about today, too. Stephanie is the youngest of three girls. She's the youngest child, so y'all already know with the youngest child, that comes with a lot of personality. I'm the youngest child. It comes with a lot of personality. She is married with three children. Stephanie is a public education teacher of 27 years. She has many roles, wears many hats, praise and worship leader of her church, entrepreneur. Cannot wait for y'all to hear about this. She's an author. Definitely got to pause about that. Content creator, podcast host, and the list keeps growing. Let me introduce y'all to Stephanie because we are actually about to have a good old time. Stephanie, I hope you're ready.
I'm ready.
You are ready. How you doing today?
Good. How are you doing?
I am doing good. The weather was beautiful today. I actually got a chance to sit outside during my lunch break today. I got a chance to work out before we started doing this today. So I am doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing great. Listen, I should have done a workout today, but we're going to get there. We are going to get there. But it was
Don't be
just
hard on
so
yourself.
nice. I know. It was so nice, Vanessa, to go outside and just feel that sun like on my face, on my skin, just that natural vitamin D. I am so ready to get rid of all the grayness and the raininess and the cool, cold mornings. I am so ready for spring.
Man, talk about it. Talk about it. And I'm not too for sure about what the weather will be like for the rest of the week. I just know what it was today. And
Yeah.
today I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thoroughly enjoyed it. So, Stephanie, today I want us to just have a conversation as if we was hanging out, having dinner somewhere, and we're just chit-chatting it up about whatever we want to talk about. But I do have some questions for you.
Okay.
Okay. All right. But before we even get into the business of things, it's some things that let me go over here. Um, I want to talk about some hot topics of today. Okay.
Okay.
Are you familiar with what's going on in the media today with TikTok world?
Yes. In fact, today I even said to somebody that was talking about having an issue with their own child on TikTok. I
Hmm.
said, well, you might not have that issue if the bill is passed. You might go home and your child might try to get into the app and they might not be able to. Okay.
Right. These people, they are upset though. They are really upset because content creators, the way I understand it, listen, I don't make money off of TikTok.
Right.
However, I understand a lot of people do make money off TikTok and they are
Absolutely.
not happy about this. They are so upset that and I think that it did pass. I'm not too for sure, but I think it did pass. They got one more, I don't know if it's Senate or Congress has to vote now.
Oh,
And TikTok will be no more in the United States if they have their way with it. Now, do you understand why they're banning TikTok in the United States?
I think China is the owner, and they really don't want them being able to have access to our personal information. But the thing I
Mhm,
wanted to say about that, especially if there's any entrepreneurs watching, that is why you can't put stock into one place of business, one platform. If you don't have your email addresses,
mhm.
other contact information, then what would you do? Like, what would happen? And I often think about this. I go live on Facebook every week with my business, but what would happen if Facebook shut down? How would I keep my business alive? Because it can't die.
And actually, Facebook and Instagram did freeze and go down for a couple hours, like a couple weeks ago, and people
Hmm.
was actually losing it. And you do have to think about those things. If you're in business, what other ways of communication are you speaking with your clientele? What other
Right,
ways of communication can they get in contact with you? Because if it's only TikTok, if it's only Instagram, if it's only Facebook, let's just say it's all three.
right.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Emails, Gmail, that is great. But here's the thing, that can go down also.
Absolutely.
That also can go down.
Well,
And it's
Vanessa,
like, what are you going to do?
that's right. During the pandemic, my only one of the only places I went to
Hmm.
besides, the grocery store, the post office I had just started my business. So I was dropping people's jewelry off to their houses. So girlfriend, I have local addresses. I have the old school address book.
There you go. I'm glad you just said that because that brings me into our first topic. So, Stephanie, you wear many hats. Many hats, right? I know how
Right.
me and you met, and it's so funny because the people who are listening, if they've seen us on here before, it was reversed. You was
Right.
interviewing me and I was the guest, right?
Right.
And we talked a little bit about how we met, but can you tell the people how we met?
I met you at church. Do you
Yes, you did.
remember? I
Yes.
met you at church. I'm going to give my church a shout out, New Day Tabernacle in Plattekill, New York. And I don't even know if somebody introduced us. I think we just met as in a way of, when somebody new comes, you notice
Hmm.
that and you just greet them and say hello. And then we got to know each other a little bit more
Hmm.
over the next few,
Hmm.
times that I saw you there. And after that, I probably saw you at a friend's house. I
Bernadette.
think that
Hmm. Hmm.
that's probably where it continued. And I'm still trying to remember. I don't know when I found out that you were a photographer. It could have been on social media, or maybe it was told to me. But it was a while ago when we met.
Hmm. Yes, it's been, I think, since 2016.
Oh my goodness, really?
Yeah, since
Okay.
2016, probably 2015, 2016, because
Hmm.
me and Lafayette joined you all's church when we first moved up here. It was
Okay.
like within the first year of us moving in this area. So
Hmm.
it's been that long. But you just said something. So okay. So we meet up, we're at Bernadette's house, a mutual friend, right?
Right.
And I have my photography studio. So then, y'all, I come up with this great idea. I said, you know what? People come into my studio and they forget their jewelry all the time. All the
Yes.
time. So then I said, you know what? I think paparazzi need to be in my studio. So just in case if they come, the jewelry is right there and they can just buy it. So who do I call to get in contact with in reference to paparazzi? Stephanie. Okay, here we go again, back in contact with each other. Can you
Yeah.
please tell us about your paparazzi business and the name of it? And how did you even get into it?
Vanessa, I was not trying to do anybody's business. I was trying to mind my business and finish teaching, retire, and then I knew I was going to I'm a business person, so I knew I was going to have a business, but I was putting it off for retirement. And then my girlfriend got started with paparazzi, and I was like, "Wait a minute. because I am highly, highly allergic to all costume jewelry.
Okay.
So I was the girl that was walking around either with 14 karat gold or white gold all my life. And I went to an event, Circle of Sisters, at the Jacob Javits
Oh, at
Center
the
one
Jacob
year.
Javits Center. Yeah.
And there was a paparazzi lady there. And when I tell you she had tons of jewelry, tons of jewelry, I went over there. I said, I'm going to take a chance because her advertisement said it was lead and nickel free. I
Hmm.
bought some pieces. I brought them home. I put them on. No breakouts. I was like, okay, maybe that was just today. Let me try. Let me try those earrings again. Let me put the necklace on this time. No breakouts. Years later, my girlfriend told me that she was going to start a business and she was going to sell paparazzi. She actually already had a business. She was a hairdresser and still is. So I was like, okay, let me know when you know how you're going to go about it. She told me about the whole Facebook Live thing and that she would be selling primarily on there. So I started getting on, and that was like my reprieve, like my laugh, my hang time, my girl time. She would get on late because her kids were young, put them to bed, and then my house was quiet. My husband was working nights then, and my kids were younger. They were in bed sleeping. So whenever she would get live, that was my me time. And she would
Hmm.
be on there cutting up, acting the fool. People would start coming in. We would have such a good time. And one day she said, "You seem to really, like the jewelry. You're a dedicated customer. You should join my team." I was like, "Leave me alone." And then she started to actually say, when she would have conversations with me, "Yeah, so when you join my team, I'll show you how to do X, Y, and Z." I said, "Stop playing. I'm just trying to mind my business, okay?
Right.
Support your business and get through my 9 to 5 job." Well, Vanessa, and then I kept saying to her, "I don't have time." Then something called the pandemic showed up,
Hmm.
and we were all stuck in the house. And even though I was still working, I wasn't working 9 to 5. I was getting on doing, virtual meetings with my classes at different times during the day. And I had more time. And I signed on to do paparazzi March of 2020. So I'm March 30th was my day, my actual day that I signed on. I'm coming up on my 4-year anniversary for selling paparazzi.
Wow. Congratulations. I remember
Thank you.
last year your 3-year anniversary.
Yes.
So I'm gonna just say I guess you're loving paparazzi world.
I'm loving paparazzi world, and everybody that is in paparazzi always says it's so much more than jewelry.
Hmm.
Vanessa, it is so much more than jewelry. I have met amazing people. Paparazzi has two major events, meetup events for training. One is in the spring, Empower Me
Hmm.
Pink, and then there's a convention in Las Vegas in the summer. Still have not gone to a convention yet, but the Empower Me Pinks are awesome events. You get information, you find out about the new upcoming jewelry, you meet awesome people, and you just have this whole support system when you join paparazzi.
Hmm.
People that are not even they're not even benefiting from you. They're not your upline. They're not getting commission from you. Reach out to you and help you and train you and invite you into their groups. There is so much support in the business. I never could have imagined what the journey would be like with paparazzi.
Okay. So you have not been to the pink
The convention I
the
haven't been to, but
convention?
I've been to two Empower Me Pinks, and they
Okay.
are it's like one big party, but everybody is walking around looking so nice and the accessories. You are all buying and selling the same stuff, but no one wears it the same.
But and that's the thing, right? So there's a difference between wearing it and styling it.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
you can wear whatever, but do
Mm-hmm.
you have style with what you're
Right.
wearing? So
Right.
that's the thing that I found interesting about paparazzi, right? When I came in under your team, and when
Mm-hmm.
you go in and you're looking for things, I never see the same things twice. Like,
Right.
okay, I have this, you have that, because I'll jump on your live. I'm like, where'd she get that from?
Right.
Mel down in Brooklyn or Harlem will have something else. I'm like, where'd she get this from? I'm like, where y'all
Right.
getting this stuff? Everybody's stuff is different. I'm like, what type of warehouse they got going on? Oh
Mm-hmm.
my goodness. So,
Yeah.
question.
Okay.
Any So we always talk about, like pros. What about cons in doing business with paparazzi? Any business lessons you can put out to the people about selling and on a, and I don't know, is paparazzi considered a multi-marketing
Network
platform? Yeah,
marketing,
is
but it's
network
not
marketing?
it's not a pyramid, because the minute you
No.
join paparazzi, you
Hmm.
can start making money.
Okay.
The minute you join, because you can give out your the minute you sign on, you get your website address. Somebody
Hmm.
could go on and start buying jewelry from you the minute you sign on. And when they do go on your website, the company still gives you your commission. So your piece of the pie from selling that, whether it's one piece or 10 pieces, they will still either mail you a check or send
Hmm.
it to you direct deposit. So and then as soon as you start signing on team members, you're
Hmm.
getting a portion of what their total is in commission. When you're selling face to face, we're buying it for $2.75. We're selling it for $5.
Hmm.
So there's so many different avenues. But the when you were saying the con, the one thing that we have to be careful of is forgetting about how things used to be before social media. You shouldn't be so tuned into I gotta go live until no one around you knows that you sell paparazzi, because you're so focused on my sales on the computer or on my device until no one on your job knows, right? No one in
Mm.
your neighborhood, your extended family. So years ago, Vanessa, I sold Mary Kay, and it was pre pandemic. It was 2006, and
Mm-hmm.
I was going face to face. I was going in people's houses doing parties. People were ordering from my website, and I was challenged by my director to get 10 leads a day. So I would get suited, booted. They train you in paparazzi, always keep a nice haircut. I mean, not paparazzi, Mary Kay, excuse me. They tell you how to take care of your skin, because in Mary Kay, you don't just slap makeup on, you take care of your skin. So when the makeup goes on, it
Mm-hmm.
enhances your look. You know what I mean? So, and we would go out and we were told, don't you come home until you have meet 10 new faces a day. And Vanessa, when I used that model, not only did my team start to grow, my customer base and the amount of money I would make from doing those home parties began to take off.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you left Mary Kay.
I love Mary Kay. I had a less than, when I started Mary Kay, my youngest child was an infant. I was home on maternity leave, and somebody told me about Mary Kay. I was like, oh, I always wanted to know about it. And I didn't know how to balance business, family, work, going back to work with an infant. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of the biggest business mistakes I've made. So anybody that's listening to me out there, when you are doing well in something, maybe you might need to go sit down and talk to somebody. Do not make an emotional decision. My team was growing. I was a red jacket. So Vanessa and Mary Kay, you're a red jacket. Then you go up to director. I was on my way to get my first car, not my
Wow.
Cadillac, because the pink Cadillac, you got to be way up there. But
Mm-hmm.
my first car, where either you drive the car that they have, or they give you the money, and you could take that money and pay the car payment on the car you want. So I was doing big business, and I had a team of women that more and more women began to join my team. So that was a big no-no for me, to let the overwhelmed feeling, and we've talked about this before, like sometimes we feel like we just need a break from social media,
Mm-hmm.
or we just need a break from business. A break is better than a quit,
But why did you quit?
because I didn't realize what I had.
Mm.
I
So did
did
you
not realize that I was on my way to something big, and I just should have stayed the course.
stay the
I
course?
was saying, "Oh, I can't do work," and there was a lot of changes going on with our state curriculum and our standards. Work was taking up so much time, Vanessa. I was feeling like I was first year teacher again, because there was so many changes going on with what we taught and how we taught it. I was up at night going reviewing all my teachers manuals and just trying to get it down pat. And then I
Mm-hmm.
had my children were younger, and I just felt like something has to give. And
Okay.
because I was doing those home-based parties, I would work Monday through Friday. Friday night, I was doing parties. Saturday night, I was all the way up in Connecticut doing parties. And after a while, I just felt like I was burning out. So instead of
Mm.
slowing down and managing, I stopped. And
So
that
that
was a
was
big mistake on my part.
it was a mistake, but it was a lesson.
It was a lesson.
It was a lesson learned,
A lesson.
because I would think that you took all of that marketing and all of that sales, all of your sales tips that you've learned and
Yes,
transferred it over to paparazzi. So
absolutely.
now there's no way you would even think about, oh, you know what? I'm just going to quit. Can
Right.
you tell everyone what is your handle in reference to paparazzi, and on if where they can find you at on social media?
Yes, on Instagram is at More Jewels. On Facebook, it's More Jewels is my business page. You'll see me go live from my personal page, Stephanie Morrison. And those are my main pages. And then I actually have a More Jewels VIP page. So people can get on that page by request. And that page allows you to see all my jewelry before I go live. So you can
Really?
take first dibs. Yep. Those are for my VIPs.
Does Bernadette know about that?
Bernadette is in the VIP group. She is active.
I'm sure she know about that. Really quick before we move on in reference to paparazzi. So I purchased all of this paparazzi jewelry, right?
Right.
Sell some of it, gave some away as gifts or what have you. But you know what I did with most of it?
What?
I wore it,
Good.
kept it for myself and wore it.
Good.
I was like, you know what? I bought this stuff, so I'm
That's
gonna
right.
wear it and whatever. And I love every moment of it. Hey, it is what it is at this point,
Yes.
right?
And it
All
wasn't
right.
a waste for you either. It was
No, it
that
wasn't.
you used for the time, you learned about it. I just want to say this real quick.
Mhm,
I saw you in a photo shoot with Denisha, the makeup artist that you
mhm,
partner with,
uh-huh.
after you joined Paparazzi, and you put two necklaces together. Vanessa, I want to reach through that screen and say, how did she think about that? Girl, the way you had that necklace on with that black leather, that's all I'm gonna say. I was like,
Thank you.
that does not look like paparazzi. And
Layer
I looked
it.
real close, and you
Yep.
had both of those. It was almost like intertwined. That was nice,
Just layer your jewelry, layer it. Sometimes, one is not enough, and
right?
two sometimes is too many, but that time it was just right.
And I would have never thought to put those two together. So layer it and take chances. Take risks.
Yes. Layer it. Take
Yeah,
take risks with it. Use color theory, especially if it's the same color or if the colors match. Layer that stuff. Yeah.
and have
All right. So when you was talking about paparazzi, you said, you know what? I couldn't think of my career. I felt like I was like a first grade teacher again. What grade do you teach in school?
Vanessa, right now I am in a K-1 building. So I go between first grade and kindergarten, but I am
Oh,
no longer the grade level teacher. So now I am the AIS math teacher. Now, when we were in school, that was called the remedial teacher or the resource room teacher. So if you've been identified as a student that needs extra help and might even
mhm.
be failing in math, then you come to me.
Okay.
So I either push into classrooms during the day or I pull small groups of children out into my room and we work on skills that will help you be more successful when you're back in your classroom and doing your math.
Okay. So, all right, I want to go backwards a little bit.
Okay.
You are a teacher of 27 years.
Yes.
What made you decide you wanted to be a teacher?
Vanessa, I don't know. I would always play teacher when I was a little girl and ask my mom, can I put on one of your dresses? Now, you know it was huge, but can I put on some of your clip on earrings? And then I would go in my room and set out dolls and stuffed animals, and I would get paper and pencils I found around the house and go grab books, anything I could find, and put it in front. And I would play teacher. But then when I was in college,
Mhm.
you already read, I like numbers, right? I thought I wanted to be an accountant. So I started taking business classes so I could start to see what it would be like, in that whole world. And when I actually took a specific like accounting class, like intro, I was so bored. I was like, I like numbers, but I don't like numbers where I'm working with numbers and I don't see a whole lot of people around me and hear a whole lot of voices and I'm in the
Mm-hmm.
office with a ledger. I was like, I don't know if that's for me. Um, and my sister Jennifer, she ended up, she was not a teacher. She was in she majored like in public policy. She went to SUNY Albany. She ended up coming back and changing her career. She got her master's in education. You know how they kind of grandfather your credits
Mm-hmm.
in.
Mm-hmm.
She became a teacher. And then I was watching her and I was like, maybe I'll be a teacher because teaching is in our family. My mother, if my mother had gone to college, my mother would have been an excellent teacher. My mother was such a good teacher and trainer and manager of our household. She was amazing. My aunt was an outstanding Sunday school teacher when we were growing up. My sister started teaching the youth in church when we were growing up. And I was like,
Okay.
this teaching gift is in the family. I was like, it's more than a profession. So I knew that I loved children. And then one day I was like, okay, it's time for you to declare a major. Your first
And
2 years
teaching
are
was
over.
it.
And I chose teaching.
So now you're a resource teacher, but what is the highest grade you've ever taught?
I started out in sixth grade. I went to fifth grade. I went to fourth grade. I went to third grade. And I missed second grade. I was like, man, I missed my opportunity
Which one did
and
you
went straight to K1.
which one did you like the most?
The one that I was most intimidated by because they were bigger than me. Not bigger than me, but I was like, I might not be able to handle it. And it was sixth grade.
Sixth grade,
Yeah.
sixth grade. You know what? Third grade it's like a phenomenal year for little kids.
Yes,
Third grade, you always remember your third grade teacher. It's
you
like
do.
because you're actually learning, you're learning that you're figuring out that, oh my God, I can learn, and you're just going on and on. So let's talk about this. As a teacher, right? In
Mhm.
today's world, we see on social media a lot of times these videos where teachers are being physically attacked by
Right,
students, right?
right.
Most of the time in high school. You don't really see that in elementary school. In elementary school, I've seen on the news where a kid may have brought a weapon to school,
Right.
a gun or a knife or what have you. What
Mhm.
what is when you hear about this, when you and your coworkers are in the break room or you're chit-chatting with your peers, what is that conversation like with you all when you see this news story on the news that another teacher has been attacked? What do you guys think about that?
All kinds of things. Sometimes we get angry, sometimes we're alarmed.
Mhm.
A lot I think most of the time we're like, this is a shame that this has this is what teaching has come to be. Like
Mhm.
you're almost like defending yourself.
Yeah.
I mentioned to somebody not too long ago, I said it's so odd being in a school and you have security guards, you have police officers, you have the front doors locked, you have to do drills to practice for if an
Mhm.
intruder comes in. I said this institution is starting to look and feel more and more like a prison. I don't care what
Mm.
people say. I have been there long enough to have seen the transition, and the institution is starting to transition slowly. Even with some of the
Mm.
behaviors that you're mentioning, it's it's rewarding, but right now it is very stressful because you don't know what to expect from day to day. We have so many children with different types of trauma coming in. Vanessa, when we went to college, we weren't trained in how to deal with trauma. I actually feel like I need some of that coursework so that I know how to deal with different things, triggers, and all of that. We didn't study that when I was getting my
Mm.
bachelor's in education. So we're dealing and facing things that we're not trained to.
Not only that, I'm sure when you went to school, this was 27 years ago, you
Right.
guys wasn't even talking about school shootings.
No,
That wasn't even a thing
no.
27 years ago.
Mm-mm.
And now it's like you have to do these drills with your school, with your classes, just in case something like that does happen. Because we
Right,
never want to say it will never happen. We just hope it won't happen where we
yeah,
are at that
right.
time. Oh, wow. So, yes, teaching. How much longer are you going to do this, Stephanie?
Well, according to the paper, I only have to do it 3 more years. But you know what? I'm not sure. And when I have a tough day, I always go around, that's it. I'm leaving in 3 years. But who knows? Because a lot can happen between now and then. I
Yeah.
might say I'm not ready to be home. I want to, be around people. I want to be around kids. Or what I'm planning for and what I'm speaking, over my life is that my businesses will be so big that I won't have a choice but to retire so that I can maintain those.
Okay. So I want to transition into something else. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're on here listening to us, this is our Brown Girls Do Network live series. And Brown Girls Do Network is a collaborative, it is a group of brown women brown women in the Hudson Valley area where we motivate, we encourage, we uplift, we push you, and we encourage you to do it. I mean, just to be the best that you can be in business. We are a network. So today we're talking with Stephanie Morrison, and we're basically just introducing you to some of the ladies that are in Brown Girls Do Network. And she is definitely an official member of Brown Girls Network. And I just thoroughly enjoy her. So Stephanie Morrison wears many, many hats. We've already talked about her on Papparazzi, having her paparazzi business. We've talked about a little bit about her being 27 years in education. But one more thing we're about to talk about. She's also an author. An author that she has just released. What we say is a monologue.
Anthology.
Anthology. Okay,
Yes.
anthology. Can
Mhm.
you please tell the wonderful people about this anthology and where they can find it?
The anthology includes, I always get the number mixed up. I think it's 8 of us, 8 women's stories. Now, we didn't even start this project out all knowing each other. I knew a few ladies, I met the other ones as we went through it. But we're telling stories of how we triumphed over a very tough time in our lives. So, and everybody's story is totally different. You know how sometimes you have maybe one or two similar type stories or life experiences. Everybody's story is different. There is like the founder or the visionary over the project. She starts the story out, and she had the idea for Girl Get Up. That's the name of her movement. But she named this anthology Girl Get Up Now. So, whereas last year she was really focused on Girl Get Up, now this year, even with the women's conference that she has coming up in May, she is focused on Girl Get Up Now, like right now. You
Mhm.
don't have to die where you are. So I think all of our stories kind of have that theme in there to encourage women and men. Men can read the book too, that you can get up from that tough place and you can move on. So right now you can get that book on Amazon. It just launched last Wednesday. So Amazon, you could get the ebook on Kindle, and real soon you'll be able to get the physical book. And if you want a signed autograph copy, I'm going to be taking pre-orders real soon for Girl Get Up Now anthology.
Okay, I purchased the one on Kindle. I have
Okay.
not read it yet, but I'm so glad you said that the actual hard copy is coming out because
Yes.
I don't know, I just like reading the book. I like the actual paper in the book, and I
Right.
definitely want mine signed.
Okay.
Definitely want it
You
signed.
got it.
Definitely. So also, okay, so as you've just now heard, right? She's an author, she's a teacher, okay, and your master's degree is in literacy.
Yes. Now, literacy is the common name because if I say what I got it in, people are going to be like, what? So when I got mine, it was just called reading, which means that I can also be a reading teacher. So now I do the math for students that need help. That master's will allow me to also be the teacher that will help the students that are having reading difficulties. And when I was getting my master's, a big part of it was focused on teaching me how to diagnose reading difficulties so that I could get down to like what it was that was causing the problem and really helping that child develop as a reader. So that's my background. So I have my concentration in math, but then for my master's, I was like, let me get into the reading a little bit more. I'm a reader. I love reading. But I want to learn a little bit more about how you teach a child to read and what approaches you could use to help them along the way.
I love that. I love that. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to segue us into another thing. Okay, Stephanie, you you wear a lot of hats. April 27th, right? With Brown Girls Do Network, we also offer workshops. And what we're doing is that we're filling up our calendar for us to have one workshop, at least one workshop a month. One of our workshops will be hosted by Miss Stephanie Morrison on April 27th, and it is Spring into Writing with Stephanie. So can you tell everyone about this workshop? Because this workshop is not only for Brown Girls Do Network members, it is open to the public. If you are not an official member of Brown Girls Do Network, it's only $15. And believe me, it will be well worth your time. If you are interested in purchasing a ticket, you can just go right on the Brown Girls Do Network Instagram page, hit the link in our bio, and go right ahead and say, you know what, I want a ticket. And Stephanie, I must say, people have actually been buying tickets.
That is
They've been,
awesome.
yes, they've been buying tickets to your workshop. And these
Oh,
are not Brown Girl Do Network members. These are actually people out in the public that has seen your flyer and they are interested. And they said, you know what? This is something that I want to attend. So can you tell everyone a little bit, give them a little bit of why they need to be in the room with this Spring into Writing with
you
Stephanie?
need to be in the room. Every time I think about the workshop, Vanessa, and even when I asked you about if you thought that would be something people would be interested in, I
Mhm,
think about taking like the tiny hand brush broom and how you just brush off dust
mhm.
off of something. So if everybody that's viewing could just think about something that's dusty and you can't quite see what's under there, if you go and get that little brush and brush it off so you can see what is really there, that's what this spring into writing is going to be similar to. We're going to review some basic writing skills, things that maybe people have forgotten over the years, maybe things that people never really learned when they were in school, depending on what school they went to and the teachers they had and their involvement. We're going to unpack social media writing because I meet people every day, Vanessa, and they say, oh, I'm not a writer. And I go on their Facebook and Instagram and they are chatting away, commenting away. Some of the comments are with passion. And I'm like, okay, that's not writing. Oh, yes, it is. We just had to find your passion. We're
Yes.
going to develop, we're going to talk about developing a writing habit. I'm a math person. I like numbers. I never thought that I would have written anything, Vanessa, and have it published.
Mhm.
Um, because I like my math, I like my puzzles, you know. But I have learned that all of us have something deep inside, and maybe we could tell some people and reach some people, right?
Mhm.
But maybe we could write and we'll reach a whole nother set of people. So, however, we have to get our story out, however, we have to encourage and ignite others to do what we know we were put on this earth to do, we need to get it out. We need to use that form. It could be writing, it could be singing, it could be art, right?
Mhm.
And we're also going to talk about, for people that are interested, and even for people that never thought about it, we're going to talk about steps to getting started with your own book. Because, like I
Mm.
said, when I was intimidated at first, I really wanted to be a part of this anthology project. And when they gave all the specifics, Vanessa, the first thing I did, I looked at the word count. I said, there is no way I'm writing 3,500 words for anybody. I am very brief and concise and to the point. I have a math mind. Vanessa, do you know before the project was over, I was taking words away?
Look at that. Look at that.
The one thing that I was intimidated by, I was like, oh no. But we're going to talk about this at the workshop. Time and development will help you get to your goal.
Okay. So I do believe everyone has a story. Everyone
Everyone.
has a story. You know, it's just how are you going to tell your story if you choose to tell your story? Because
Right.
I know I have a story and probably a couple more stories back
Right.
there. Some of them I choose not to tell. Some
Hmm.
of them I have no problem with telling. Some of them I need to tell. right?
Yes.
So it's, I know I'm going to enjoy this writing workshop. It's going
Mhm.
to actually take me outside my comfort zone, and I'm
Mhm.
okay with that, because it's like, how do you grow? How do you learn? How do you develop if you constantly stay in the same comfort zone? I need to get out of my comfort zone. So I'm actually looking forward to this spring into writing. I'm
Right.
definitely looking forward to it.
I'm glad. Vanessa, let me just add real quick. A
Mhm.
lot of times I feel like people shy away from writing and writers' workshops and writing classes because they remember that negative experience they had. I
Mhm.
still remember getting back papers with all red ink. So anybody that's listening, I'm not that type of presenter, teacher, facilitator. I was the one that was getting the red ink. So my approach is not to come and tear you down, but build you up, to find what's good in there and build from there and teach you how to identify the things that maybe you don't need, or the things that maybe you could, take out or enhance. But I don't have that approach as a person, so I don't have that approach as a teacher. So come, don't worry about all that stuff from the past. Flush that down the toilet. This is new.
Listen, when you
Yes.
talk about the past, okay,
Yeah.
English was traumatizing for me in school,
Mm,
in high school. I remember I had to go to summer school every year in high school because of English. My senior year, I was like, I refuse. I'm graduating. No, this is not holding me back. Okay.
right.
And I just had to just get it together. Get it together.
Right.
Even when I went to college, I remember one of my professors, she said, you write like you talk. I'm like, right, okay. But she's like, no, you cannot write like you talk. I'm like, okay. And I remember getting back papers with red all over them,
Mhm.
until I was like, no, I'm going to challenge myself to get this right. And I
Right.
had to make sure I did that. And once I did finally get it right, I felt good about it. But don't ask me to write
Absolutely.
no papers. I'm still not gonna write no more papers. That
Right.
I'm so done with that. Okay. Because
Right.
that was torture, traumatizing. However, it was a lesson learned. It was a lesson learned.
Yeah.
So I'm still, like I said, I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, I'm
So
glad.
oh yeah, I'm looking forward to all the workshops. And
Yeah, me too.
oh man, listen, y'all. We have workshop. Oh my gosh, we have Lachelle Bolton. She'll be doing her workshop on April 6th. That's before Stephanie's. That's at the top of the month, April 6th. And hers is on finances. Oh
Mhm.
my God, financial health matters is hers. Financial health matters, and she's going to be talking about your relationship between your emotions and your money. Oh, I can't wait for that one. And then your sister, Miss Howard, will be talking about, oh my God, think like a boss, the
Yes.
challenges we have in business related to what's going on in society. Listen, people have been buying these tickets online to these workshops, and I am so excited about it. So
Me too.
excited. So let's dive into something else, because you still got another hat we ain't talk about. Still got another hat. Another hat. Let's talk about this podcast, because, ladies and gentlemen, Stephanie is mainly the one running the show. She said to me when she was in the green room, yes, we have a green room. When she was in the green room waiting before she came out, she said, I've never been interviewed. This is like really different for me. And I'm like, what? Really? Oh my goodness. So we have switched places today, and please let them know the name of your podcast, what your podcast is about, and how and when they can find your podcast.
Well, Vanessa, my podcast is called True Voices, and I don't have a set Sunday yet, but I try to go live once a month. It's always on a Sunday at 5 o'clock. So you will see it advertised on Facebook, on my personal page, and on my True Voices podcast page whenever we're having an upcoming interview. And we just had one last Sunday. So you and I interviewed an author. She wrote a book, Love is the New Black, and she came forward and opened up and told her story about divorce, which she did not want. Very much a
Ooh.
wife and family person and mother, but guess what? It happened. And those are the types of things that I like to talk about and help people work through when they're listening. And I like to highlight people that are writing about it and helping get their books sold and read. But anyway, so True Voices is my podcast, and I focus on like cultural and spiritual conversations, focus on things that are going on today, focus on things like I just said that people are just trying to work through, and
Mhm.
things that we need to be true about. I see so much falseness and fakeness on social media. One day I was like, somebody needs to start speaking truth because there's so many facades. Um, and I just started seeing comments that people were writing, and I was like, especially like in education, I was like, that's not even true. And I was one day, I'm telling you, the idea came to me to do a podcast, and that idea was way bigger than me. I was like, no way, I am not doing a podcast. I am not sitting up here having people look at me in my face. And now I go live with the jury once a week. So, like, what's the difference? But it is work. It does take preparation. I had to study, I have to gather notes. I find my people. Most of them, I talk to them beforehand. But growing up, I was such a talk show junkie. I am a Sally Raphael watcher, Phil Donahue, but my girl is Oprah. I would run home from school, put all my stuff down, get my after school snack. I was in front of that TV at 4 o'clock watching Oprah. I was devastated when she decided to transition to something else. But let me tell you, for years, I still watch Tamron when I can, Jennifer Hudson, Sherry. I am, when I tell you, a diehard fan of talk show TV. That's me. So I guess it kind of fits that I ended up in that role.
So this is how the podcast came about.
Yes.
Um, how do you find your people that you want to interview for your podcast?
You know what? I don't, it's Vanessa, when you're called to do something, everything you need shows up. I have
Mhm.
met people through friends, not in real life, on social media. And I'm like, I think I want to get you on the show. So a lot of people are personal people that I know, and I want them to share their story. But it's funny how many people I've met just from being on social media through other friends.
Mhm.
And it seems like lately I had no intention on sticking with the authors. Lately, Vanessa, I've been finding out about these authors, reading their books, and just getting them on, getting them on, getting them on. There are so many people writing, but let me just say, there's so many brown girls writing right now. It is
Mm,
explosive. And we need to
nice.
pull them out and let them be exposed to our people. Listen, if you tell me 10 of your people and I recommend 10 of my people to you, that's how we grow.
That is how we grow. That is how, you know how many,
Just
and you what you said about social media,
mhm.
about so many friends you've met on social media. I have so many friends that I've never met in real life that I talk to all the time
Yeah.
on social media, like and
Yes.
message, and they compliment my work. I compliment their work. They ask me questions. I ask them questions, and
Yep.
I'm like, they are all right with me. But
Mhm.
also though about social media, a lot of stuff is not real. A lot of stuff is not
Absolutely.
real. And I'm not going to say everyone, okay,
Right.
because we say everyone, we're talking about us as well,
Mhm.
are not as authentic, right,
Mhm.
as you would hope they would be.
Right.
But that's their problem, not my problem, because I try to keep mine as authentic as possible. If stuff is
Yes.
happening, it's happening. If it ain't, it ain't. It's just
Right.
not happening, right? It's just not happening.
Absolutely.
So, Stephanie, I this has been a nice conversation, a beautiful conversation. Anything else? Any other hat? Any other hat that you wear that I did not mention or that I don't know about? I mean, you are a mom of three, you are a
Yes.
wife, okay? Those
Yes.
are actually hats as well, and those are very important hats that you're
Yes.
wearing as well. You're a sister, right? To
I'm
the
a
oh, we
sister.
love Miss Howard, and I don't even know your other. Do I know your other sister?
No, she lives upstate, but you would love
Oh,
her
okay.
because her area is social work as well.
Okay, I would
Y'all
love
would hit
her
it off.
also.
And
Yes,
she
we would
keeps
sit
saying
there.
she's going to come down here and schedule a photo shoot with you because she loves our photos. So you'll
Oh,
be meeting her.
I love it, and we'll be in there. Okay. So Brown Girls Do Network actually, this is how Brown Girls got started, with these women, powerful women coming into my studio, trusting me to do their photos. And as you're in there, as you know, it's an experience. And we're
Yes,
talking, and it's an authentic experience. We're talking,
absolutely.
I'm getting to know you, you're getting to know me. We're, you know, doing all of these wonderful photos. And at the end of it, I've met a new friend. I got a new friend. And I was like, all of these wonderful women keep coming through my studio. They need to know each other just to have the energy and the love off of each other. And this is how Brown Girls was actually created. And I just love our community and our network.
Yes.
If anyone is interested in being a part of Brown Girls Do Network, please reach out to us. Our membership right now is open. We are growing. We're adding our workshops on our calendar at least once a month. Stephanie will be one of our presenters on our workshops. We have community service that we're actually doing. We're trying to actually become more involved in the Hudson Valley area, and we want to be everywhere. We want to
Yeah.
be everywhere in the Hudson Valley area because we love our network, and we want to just basically motivate you and, you know, encourage. And you don't have to have a business to be a part of Brown Girls Do Network. You do not have to have a business. Stephanie, oh my goodness. The spring, I think the weather is about to break. We are about to be
Oh,
outside.
thank goodness.
We're about to be outside having a good time. And
Yes.
listen, I thoroughly enjoy having this conversation with you. This is exactly what I wanted to do, just have a conversation, no pressure at all, and just enjoy it. Did you enjoy yourself?
Totally enjoyed it. Now I'm all calm from, the day. I've
Uh-huh.
got all my tasks done. I can go chill
You can go chill.
because I'm nice and calm now.
Before we go, I want to just see if we have any comments in here. If Vic just said, I'll take number 37, please. The V piece. Oh, wait, that's my paparazzi post traumatic stress disorder kicking in.
Oh my
He said,
God.
congratulations, Stephen. Much success.
Oh,
Um,
thank you, Vic.
thank
No
you, Miss
traumatic,
Howard.
no trauma with the jewelry.
Thank you, Miss Howard. She said this is such a beautiful network. Our story, Tanisha, is in here. She said this is just beautiful. Lachelle just
Aw.
loved what you was talking about. She says, speak it, speak it. Let me check over here on Instagram. Is there anybody over here have any questions or anything? I'm not seeing anything. Miss Coco was our moderator today, and she was monitoring all of our comments for us. Thank you, Miss Howard. She said such a great interview. So,
Aw.
Stephanie, thank you very much. And you know what? Let me tell y'all something. I think I've talked to Stephanie more this week than my life. We've
Right.
been on on text messaging all
Yes.
week long. And we definitely still got some more business to take care of with your subscription that you talked about.
I'm
Yay.
always coming up with ideas.
Always coming up with ideas. I love it. I love it. Thank you, Stephanie, and
Yes.
you have a wonderful night.
You too. Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. Bye bye. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have enjoyed our Brown Girls Do Network live series. Tomorrow, we will be back on here tomorrow with Miss Shamika Brooks from She's Framed and Pastures by Her to talk to her. She is another Brown Girls Do Network member, and I am thoroughly looking forward to speaking with her. And I cannot wait for you guys to meet her, to see all these beautiful frames that she has, and all of and talk about her story and her journey as well. So our Brown Girls Do Network live series, it is for you to get to know us, the women in the network, for you to know about their business, solicit their business, ask questions about their business. And even if you want to be a part of Brown Girls Do Network, come on in, join us, have fun. Listen, we don't take life too serious, but we know life is serious, but we will still continue to have fun. And I want you guys to have a great night and a great evening, because now I'm going upstairs to chill out with my husband. Talk to you later. Bye.